First off, I'd like to thank all of you for calling in and giving us an opportunity to talk to you a bit about our company 3M and what 3M offers and why 3M is a great company for you to consider as you're looking at your post-college career. As Bill alluded to, I am a Metro State graduate. I graduated back in 2004 with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, and I interned at 3M, the year before that I graduated. 3M has given me a multitude of opportunities, and what I'd like to do first off is just kind of go through why we think Metro State and 3M are a really good combination. And then when I'm done, Peter's going to talk to you a little bit more about the intern program and some things to think about as you're preparing for, if you're interested in the intern program, how to prepare for that so that you've got the tools in your back pocket to really put your best foot forward when it comes to that whole process of applying and making it through into the intern program itself. First off, a little bit about 3M. What we're seeing now is our value model. We believe very strongly in everything that you see presented here. We have a vision that we are advancing technology in every company and putting products, enhancing every home, and that our innovation that we are creating is improving every life. We are very strong in technology, manufacturing, and we have a very strong brand. And as you can see in our priorities, we have portfolio, transformation, innovation, people and culture. And transformation is actually the area in which I work in as well. And that is making sure that 3M is moving forward into the 21st century as a very strong company and a competitive company. Our values are really what makes us and sets us apart from other companies. We believe strongly in the diversity of thought, diversity in our people, diversity in our staffing. They're very, we believe in the equity and inclusion. We spend a lot of time learning these strengths and getting more conversant in it and making sure that everybody that works there is valued for what they bring to the table. We also value sustainability, and we have a very strong 3M code of conduct. Next slide. Here's what we do. We work through 4 different business groups. We have our safety and industrial, transportation, electronics, healthcare, and consumer. These are a wide breadth of products. We like to say that most people will touch a 3M product. I believe what I heard was 75 times a day, because we do more than Post-it notes, more than sandpaper. We provide, as most of you have heard, we're a strong provider in PPE, face masks, respirators. We put a lot of pieces into your car, and in our industrial area, we are providing many manufacturing companies with products and materials in order for them to make quality products. Next. Our people is our company. Our people work as teams. We do a lot of collaboration. And through that, and through insights from our customers and the market, what we've done is we've been able to expand these out into a number of technology platforms. And what this means for you is no matter where you're looking at as far as your technology degree, we have jobs and careers that will help you expand your knowledge and grow and become that and get to those goals that you have for yourself. It's not just creating applications, but we're working on a cloud transformation. We do a lot of maintaining of legacy systems. We also do the systems that help the factories work and work smoothly and more efficiently. Next one. So our Safety and Industrial Business Group is, again, this is one of our groups. It includes the PPE that we were talking about, providing face masks, helmets. We also have industrial adhesives, tapes, and abrasives, so that as we're making these products, we are also making them for other companies so that they can do a better job. So our Safety and Industrial Business Group, one of our biggest groups, is really where we are making products so other companies can have a better product themselves. Next one. We also have our healthcare and also transportation and electronics. Again, we do things like circuits. We have privacy screens. We do the transportation safety. Those reflective light films that go on signs, on roads. We even provide products for license plates so that those can easily be seen in the dark. A lot of different products there. Next slide. And like I said, in healthcare, we do things like medical solutions. If you've gone to the doctor, you'll see 3M tape. Drug delivery, we do the vials or the cylinders that hold your shots. We create product for food safety, and also in health information systems as well. A wide breadth of products. And then finally, what everybody thinks about is Consumer Business Group, and that is your Post-it notes. That's your sandpaper, that's your cleaning products. And also, as you can see, we also do braces and as you can see on there, for your athletic care and stationery. Next one. So here's how we work. Well, as you know, have probably seen, one of the biggest focuses last year was helping the world respond to COVID-19. Everybody, every angle, we all shifted our focus to make sure that our business groups and our factories that produce these products are able to work efficiently and quickly. We also were making sure that our employees were safe in our plants, making sure that they had what they needed in order to work safely so that we could get those products safely out to our people. We were making sure that the healthcare responders, workers and first responders had the PPE that they needed. And we also partnered with other companies where we knew we could only create so much at one time. We partnered with groups like Ford and some other ones to help them retool their plants in order so that they could as well produce the products that they needed so that we could get through this pandemic as safely and as quickly as possible.
Hey, I just have a little note here. I just wanted to point out. So you see these face masks they're wearing here. Before the pandemic began, we were making, and I'm reading these out of our notes here, so it's a little scripted, but we were making 300 million of them a year. By October of last year, we were at a run rate of 1.1 billion face masks per year, and we are now closing on 2 billion face masks as a monthly run rate in March of this year. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I know, it's really cool to see that. We really pulled together, I think, this year, and I'm so proud of my company for that.
Yeah.
And again, another area that we're innovating and leading is for sustainability. We are, concerned about science and climate and making sure that our solutions all have whatever we create will improve our global footprint. Every new product, we want to make sure that it does not accelerate climate change, and it's been something that we've been working really hard at. We have a whole group that makes sure that we are sustainable. Some of our plants are now carbon neutral. We're working towards getting more and more of them carbon neutral so that we can be proud not only of what we produce, but how we produce it as well. And again, that's something in everything that we do. We think about it as we move forward. And as you can see, as I said earlier, since 2019, every single product we release is required to have a sustainability value commitment. That's the kind of sustainability that we're looking for. And it's not only the product, but the packaging, from the inside out. We try to make sure that what we are doing, that we will leave a better earth when we're done. We also spend a lot of time investing in our communities. We're all encouraged and actually incentivized to go out into our communities, working with grade school kids, high school kids, getting them excited about technology, making sure that they've understand what sort of careers they can have in the STEM area. We're partnering with different programs to also help improve the communities in which we live in. It is part of our core, and it's what we do all the time.
And this one right here, I just want to add one thing.
Mhm.
That I love about this is actually every year 3M will match up to $500 in donations that I make to any charitable cause, or they'll actually make a cash contribution even if I'm committing to my time. And something my nephew has autism, and that's something that's very passionate for me. So I actually volunteer at a place called Partners in Excellence that helps work with autistic children, and I'm able to report my hours, and 3M makes a cash contribution. So they really invest, and it's not just here in Minnesota, it's worldwide. So
Worldwide.
Mhm.
And here we get to diversity. We've come to realize quite some time ago that diversity is what really drives innovation and really drives solutions. And you can only do that with a diversity of people, a diversity of thought, and the inclusion, and making sure that everybody who brings in their different perspectives, their different upbringings, their backgrounds, all of those go into the mix and help us to better understand how we can make better products, make better solutions, and to help our community and globally as well, because 3M is a global company. So we've even got we've been signed on to, as you can see here, the UN Women's Empowerment Principles, and also with LGBTI standards for conduct for business. And we, like I said, we have a goal to double our pipeline for diverse talent and management. So it's not just bringing them in, but also helping them grow and leveraging that, what they're bringing to the table, and making the company itself better because of the diversity that we've committed to making sure that we honor, we recognize, and elevate wherever we can.
Awesome, Kat. Thank you.
Thanks.
So I'm going to do some presenting here. Now you have to give me a second to get this set up, but one of the things we're here is to make connections with our Metro State students and the Career and the Business Center. So stop me at any time when I'm in my presentation if you've got questions. I'd love to get to know you a little bit. And maybe right now, does anybody have any questions about the presentation Kat just brought us through on how 3M operates? Feel free to speak up too.
Seemed pretty self-explanatory to me.
Awesome. Yeah. I think the key takeaways is 3M really is an awesome company. One of the things that didn't come across in the slides, and I don't know why we don't include it, but we've been in business for over 100 years. So, to think about that, not many companies exist that long. And part of how we do that is we're continuing to transform ourselves as a company and innovate to keep modern, to keep up with the times. And I think that came across really well in Kat's presentation. So I want to talk a little bit more specific about the internship opportunities that we have in our transformation technologies and services, and give you some of our background. So one of the things is, what is transformation technologies and services? It'll get a little bit more in detail, but we're IT. We are business process focused. We're our SAP solution. And even services, kind of interesting is some of our logistics areas and our corporate jets are in our group. So let's just jump right in. So we're recruiting. That's what we're here for. And we want you to ask questions. I want to get to know you. Like, give me a reason to promote you inside of 3M so we can present the best candidates. And who are we looking for? So when we come to Metro State, we are recruiting, and basically freshmen, we typically don't recruit, okay? Really haven't completed enough relevant courses that would be required to succeed. That's to succeed in the internship, but it's also to succeed during the interview process. You'd be competing against students that have more class experience, more background from you, because that focus on your major hasn't really begun. Sophomores are eligible and they can apply for internships. A lot of that's depending upon the classwork that you've completed and any relevant work experience you have. And the real sweet spot here is juniors. So juniors fully prepared for internships. You've completed all of your entry-level classes. You've begun to focus on the classes in your major. A lot of your relevant work experience might start to come up. So that's even a thing to think about here is, do you have relevant work experience? How could you talk about that? And seniors, unfortunately, seniors will have graduated from college before the internships begin. So our internships, and we follow how Minnesota law lays it out, you must be a college student after the internship ends. So you're no longer eligible for an internship, but you are eligible for a full-time position. Typically, and we'll get into some of the numbers here, typically we have 3 to 5 full-time roles open. But I'll just let you know, it is much more competitive. You're applying and competing against everybody. So these jobs are open to the general public. They're open to college students that have had internships or previous work experience. So the real golden spot is to get into 3M through our internships. I don't have the numbers posted here for what we will have in 2022. So the internships we will be recruiting for, but the ones coming in this summer, we had a little bit over 50. I think we had 52 internships positions that we hired. So we have quite a few of them. We do, though, recruit at over 25 universities and college events. So there is a lot of competition even in the internship, but it's a little bit more focused for you. And we are a very strategic company. Our internships are the way into 3M. We do a lot of work with our HR departments to make certain that we have the right amount of full-time offers to make for the internships. So this isn't something we're just doing out there and like, hey, let's have an internship, come here for 3 months. Our intent is to bring you out and have you interview us for 3 months and you decide if you want to work with us, but also for us to have an extended interview with you. So what does TTS look like? What is technology in transformation? So a little bit more detail here. We are our business group and operation partnerships. We are, and this is kind of the middle, it's the traditional IT, it's our ERP ecosystem. We're doing a lot of work with SAP. It is our on-premise data center, and a big part of our work is now transitioning to cloud-based and transitioning to AWS data centers, and then business process transformation. So how does IT enable our business capabilities and how do we improve it? And then our global services and facilities. One thing to think about in Kat's presentation, we are a global company. We have manufacturing plants in 80 countries. All of our manufacturing plants are highly technical, computerized systems. We've got sales operations around the world. And that means that we have to have support mechanisms. We have to have people around to answer tickets, to bring systems back online. We have GSCs strategically located around the world here in the United States, in Costa Rica, in the Philippines, in Poland. We're going to be setting one up soon in India, where we have full-time 3M workers providing support. Global facilities and corporate aviation are also in that area. So this is kind of an architectural view of the TTS portfolio, and it basically shows from the ground up how we support the customers of 3M. It's built upon our IT infrastructure. This is the physical and cloud servers. This is our compliance and security policies that enable our ERP. Our master data systems assure we have clear data, and our intercompany connect enables us to integrate our demand, our marketing to cash operations, the supply, plan to deliver, and all of our support areas. So record to report, that's finance, hire to retire, and source to pay, all supported by our global service centers, our supply chain center of excellence, and our business service operations. And that enables our digital customer solutions, our business and subsidiary integrations, and it results in an awesome experience for our customers. Here's just another view, and this is just to show how it's a complete system. None of these things operate by themselves. End-to-end processes. If we take in order, we have to have a way to bring in the cash. We have to maintain relationships with our customers. So our IT systems are all tied together. Any questions on these last 2 or 3 slides I presented? Anybody interested in the internship so far?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What kind of technologies do you use in the infrastructure?
That's a great question. And the answer is basically all. So it may be a shorter answer to say all. We have a traditional on-premise data centers. Some of our data is too proprietary to move off. We have done a lot of lift and shift of our systems into the cloud. So AWS is where most of our servers, that's where our ERP system is being transitioned to. But Microsoft and AWS is also a big player in our environment, and the entire health information systems that Katherine talked about are run in AWS. And inside of them, you can think of almost all of the services being used. I'll tell you kind of an interesting analogy because I really like this question. When I was an intern at 3M, I'm kind of a computer geek and I love robots and I love all of that stuff. And we got to go to a plant and in my head, I'm thinking, man, I'm going to go to a plant and I'm going to see a couple hundred workers and there's going to be a production line and they'll be there. And it's kind of like, I don't know, I had this vision of like this 1980s car manufacturing production line. And we get there, we're actually met by a PhD engineer. And he kind of talks about the plant and takes us to an area and we're all putting on our PPE gear. So we're basically putting on covering for our shoes and our hair and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, this is kind of interesting and kind of neat. And I'm glad they got this guy to come out and talk to us and give us a tour. And then he brings us in the plant and nobody's in there. And there's not even any lights on. It's completely operating. Like you can hear all these machines moving. Nobody's in there. And the lights are off and he flicks on the lights and boom, there it is, like as big as a football field, an entire production floor just spinning super fast. It was pretty crazy. We were making medical patches. So a lot of times 3M, we make adhesives, we make tapes. Well, one of the other things we do in our healthcare system is we embed medicines into that adhesive. And then you could put that adhesive patch, you could put it on your arm. So a lot of times actually they do hormone treatments that way. Sometimes they do pain medication. There's a lot of different treatments where that makes sense. That's what they were making here. And when the lights came on, I was like, wow, this is so cool. And there's all these machines and there's these robots running around, picking up big jumbos, moving things into place. And anyway, we're walking it. He's giving us all of this information, and he's talking because he's all talking about all the technology that was supported. And I finally raised my hand, I'm like, this is so cool, man. How many different robots like do you get to work with every day? And he looked at me and he's like, Peter, I only work with one, and we're inside of it. Like that, those are just parts of the machine. And anyway, if you were really interested in that, we have areas in our logistics execution, manufacturing execution systems, and manufacturing integration layers, where we actually have machines. Their interface is called SCADA, and we actually have teams that build in integrations and take manufacturing machines and production lines. So basically all technologies. So great question.
I want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I know you asked that if anyone was interested in the internships.
Yeah.
So I actually I also applied for one through Indeed.
Okay. Through Indeed.
Yes, through Indeed, but I created a profile with 3M and everything.
Yeah.
So it was an internship that is starting this summer.
Yeah.
For the MIS student, because I'm an MIS student.
Yeah.
And this is my final year. So but it just says it's in process. So I don't know how long does it take for the application to go through, because it must be, or I must have applied maybe end of February, beginning of March, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. So
yeah. And you're a senior graduating this May?
No, so I'm graduating in December.
Okay. So one is I don't know if we have a relationship with Indeed. I don't think we do though. And
No, it just came through Indeed, but I didn't apply through Indeed. I actually applied directly into 3M.
Okay.
Company.
Yeah. And you came in through 3m.com.
Yeah. And then it asked me to create a profile and username and password. So when I check the status, it's just saying in process. So I'm not sure how does that work.
Yeah. So I can actually give some info here.
Okay.
It's not going to be the best info for you though. So that is one of the full-time positions, and those are much more competitive to get. So that's why the internship opportunities is really the way to come in and get to know us personal. So when you're not operating through those machines and applying, and basically you're in a computer queue system.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of our HR systems, like when we put those jobs out, when I was talking about the full-time, those are open to anybody. And at a company like 3M, a lot of times when you apply, we may get 100, 1,000 applicants.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they actually move through pretty fast. Sometimes it takes quite a while. So there's probably some algorithm and some HR person that has a copy of your resume, and they're looking at it and comparing you to all the other people that have applied, and slowly working through the interview process and working to bring somebody online or be hired. So I can't give you a status update, but I can tell you if you applied through the 3M Careers website and it's still saying it's in process, that you're still being considered, but you're being considered against a large pool of applicants.
Yeah, I thought so, because this was one of the internship that it didn't need any of experiences. It was like an entry level, I guess, I'm assuming, because it didn't ask for any experiences. So I was talking to my husband about, he was telling me, Sakina, it will take long because there must be a lot of applications that they received, since it's an entry level. You should just have patience. I'm waiting. So let's see if it's in my luck. Fine. If it's okay. I mean, there's always opportunity, right? I mean, because I know 3M since I was a little girl. So because we have it back home also. I'm from Tanzania. So I remember 3M since I'm young, was young. So I know it's a big company. So
I tell you what, I am thrilled you applied, and maybe at the end of this we'll send my email out, and if Kat wants to send hers out, we could have a chat. There's probably nothing I can do specific for that job, but maybe if something else fits, I could refer you. I'm pretty confident though the internship route opportunity has passed. So
Sure.
I
Thank
do know that.
you.
Yeah. Thank you for talking, Sakina. Did I say that right? Sakina?
Yes, you got it right.
Awesome. So basically, these are the values a little bit more in detail that Kat was talking about. But I think some of the things is this is also how we win. So these are some of the attitudes we bring. We have to always think of customer at our core. We always want to be innovating boldly. You know, there's a saying out in business, right? Like, if you're not making yourself obsolete, somebody else will do it to you. Powered by inclusion, like this is super huge. The seek and celebrate diversity. This is something that if we don't reflect our customers, then our customers won't be part of us. Like we have to be powered by inclusion. We need to win with agility and unwavering integrity. If you don't have integrity, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. You won't succeed. So what do we offer?
Hand raised, Peter.
Oh, do I? I don't even know how to handle that.
Oh,
Idiot, you have a
Yeah.
question?
are you
Go
on
ahead.
mute? Maybe not.
Oh, there you are. You should be unmuted, Ron.
Mhm.
Maybe if you're having speaker troubles, is there a chat box you could put your question in?
Well, we'll come to you a little bit later.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Thank you. My question was regarding your explanation earlier on regarding all the systems you are using. So as an intern, must we have experience in all these systems before we can be hired by 3M?
No. You don't need to have experience to be a 3M, intern. One of the things that we're looking at is for people who are engaged, getting decent grades, taking the courses, and part of one of the things that happens as a 3M intern, and one of the reasons we're looking really hard to get the right people is during your internship, we'll be training you on some of these systems. So being able to give you some more experience and to learn more about how 3M, the different systems that we use. So when you start looking into an internship and when we go through the application process, you'll be able to indicate the areas that you're interested in. And that's why it's kind of important to kind of see what some of our areas are that we offer, so that when you apply for an internship, you can indicate your areas of interest, and we'll try and fit those candidates into those areas so that you can better understand how our systems work. But during your internship, you will actually be given hands-on experience with some of these systems, but we do not expect you necessarily to have experience in them before you start.
Thank you. Because I go ahead, Peter.
I was gonna say we've actually talked a few times, haven't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
So
Your name on my notes. We talked last year.
So I'm surprised I was not then. I applied the career section you had earlier this year. I applied for a position, an internship, but I don't know what happened. I wasn't chosen. So that is why I'm asking this question.
Yeah, I can tell you, and on your case, I don't know specifically. Last year, though, we had 12 different interviews that we ended up completing from Metro State students of all the people that applied. And we ended up making offers to 2 Metro State students, and you weren't one of them. We can try again this year and see if we can change those outcomes. I think some of that ties into, how do we compare to other Metro State students? And I think the slides will get into, how can you set yourself apart a little bit more? How can you increase your opportunities? So that's one thing me and Kat are not doing. Nobody's guaranteed an internship. This is a competitive process. And we're trying to lay out right here what's involved, what your opportunities are if you get the internship. And we're going to cover a little bit about how you can improve your odds. You have another
Thank you.
question?
Yeah, this year is my last year. This semester is my last semester in Metro. So I'll be graduating by May.
Okay.
I don't know if I am still qualified for the.
Yeah, definitely not for the internships. You would now be a full-time candidate. That's where you'd fall if you're a current senior, and definitely I'll talk a little bit about that too in a minute. Eric.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Indeed, yes.
Hi, I apologize if you already went over this before, but I had a question about like meeting requirements for the internship. Currently, I'm a junior. After this semester, I will be finished with all of my entry-level courses. And so from now on, I'll be taking upper-level courses. And I'm pretty confident that I'll be graduating by sometime of next year. Do I still meet requirements for applying for the full-time internships?
So that you're kind of close, and I kind of gave the laid out one, and this is a thing I remember from Metro State. It's kind of a different path, and when people graduate, so to be an intern, you have to be a student after the internship ends. So if you will graduate anytime before the internship ends, which would be August 30th of 2022, then you wouldn't qualify if your graduation date is after that. So say if you came back next year in the fall and then graduated in December of 2022, then you would qualify for an internship.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm going to hop back in the slides. Let me know though if you do have questions. So what do we offer? So at an internship, this Fortune 100 company, hey, that really makes your resume look awesome. So you might have an opportunity to take a job at 3M, but you've really burnished your back or your experience. You'll get an opportunity to work with global teams across all functions. I actually am in a role where I basically talk with, I think at least 10 different people in 10 different countries every week, sometimes more. It depends on what's going on. How about you, Kat? Is that pretty cool
yeah.
for you?
Yeah, I'm part of the ERP project where we're rolling out SAP globally. And so, and I'm in a global role. So I'll spend my mornings talking with our partners in Europe. And then in my evenings, I spend with calls currently with Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam. So it's definitely people across the country. Tomorrow, I'm meeting with our colleagues down in South America to talk about that. So yeah, definitely global. And where I've liked it is at least with my job, I've had an opportunity to actually travel to some of these places as we roll it out. And that's been probably my favorite part of my job is being able to go to these plants and talking to the people that actually are making the products that facilitate my paycheck. So
Awesome. I tell you what, so let's go back. Your career is really what you make of it. You'll get some experience utilizing Lean Six Sigma. You'll get to understand that a little bit more. How does that apply in a business? We talked about all of the different technologies. You'll get exposure to many of them, and you'll actually see all the different type of job variability and flexibility that exists at 3M. So let's talk about our TTS Internship Program. It is 10 to 12 weeks in length, begins in the beginning of May and ends at the end of August. It is 40 hours of work per week, and you are compensated well, competitively based on your current education level, your major discipline, the number of previous internships you've had with 3M. During your internships, you'll do a lot of different activities. One of the things is you will be embedded in a team, and you'll spend about 70% of your time in your functional area working with your supervisor or manager on the projects and works they assign you. Actually, the funnest part, I think, is the 20% intern program activities. There's a lot of opportunities to network, to learn, to get to meet leaders at 3M and understand how their careers took them to where they're at. Kind of interesting how it materialized this year, going all remote. Who knows what the state will be this summer and what it'll be like next summer. But I actually do know when I was in internship, they did a lot of lunches. They did a lot of pizzas, and I loved that. And I actually was kind of feeling bad for the interns. I'm like, so you guys, nobody got free lunches? Like, no, you know what? We actually did a few events where they basically ordered Domino's and had pizzas delivered to all the different interns' house and did some great events. But that's a great opportunity, and you get to meet just more than just the interns. You know, when I mentioned 50 interns, that's just in TTS. 3M has interns across the company, so you do get the opportunity to meet all of them. And then there's a hackathon event. This is, you could kind of think of it as reverse mentoring. It's always a fun opportunity where a business challenge could be presented to you. And a lot of the interns self-form groups and develop solutions and hack something together and say, here's a proof of concept. Here's what we could do. Here's a new product. Here's a new way of solving that problem. So it's very awesome. You know, some of the things that we hope our interns reflect on the whole time you're doing your internship is, do you have an interest in full-time employment at 3M? I guess it's the same twice, but do you have a continued interest in 3M IT for a full-time career? What area 3M is a good fit for your first role post-graduation? And you know, kind of tied to all of that too, if we're having juniors, maybe you might have came back, you might have learned something during your internship at 3M and updated or refocused some of the class areas you're taking. So where are our internships in TTS? We have our IT systems. Traditional IT would provide enterprise-wide technology and security to our customers, to our suppliers, to our employees. Deploy flexible cloud-based technologies to enable solutions while continuing to enhance our platform performance and capabilities. Very traditional IT, traditional in the cloud now. ERP ecosystem solutions, deliver integrated global ERP ecosystem solution to maximize the value to 3M, focusing on providing an optimized experience for both customers and employees through an end-to-end process focus, which allows global teams to work differently and drive growth and productivity. And our global service centers, supporting the back office transactional services, providing all of the customer front-facing services focused on standard centralized activity and enhancing our service performance through automation, digitization, and innovation. And our 3M GSCs are located around the globe. So these are our interns that we have this summer that are coming in actually in a month. Starting in May is we had internships, and it'll be similar next year in ITS, and the specific roles we had were information security, risk and compliance, quality and release management, infrastructure, services and strategy, data analytics, master data management, digital and advanced analytics, operational excellence. We had roles in ERP ecosystems and a release management, and the PMO and value management, deployment architecture, and the process teams. And then we had internships in global service centers. One thing to quickly note, that's not the number of internships. Those were the roles. So in some of those areas, we might have had 2 or 3 or 4 different interns, but those were the roles. What do you get? What is the internship experience like? Professional growth. I don't do this anymore. I don't know if you do, Kat, but I actually used to be involved with the former intern panel. So a lot of times, and they do this right away in the internship program, is they do a panel and they bring in some recent interns and they let you as a new intern cue them about what helped them succeed in their internship. How did they get a job? So the tours, they do labs, data centers. You might get a tour of a plant like I did. There's the group project, that's the hackathon, many different leadership panels. So there isn't just one, lots of opportunities to meet leaders at 3M, not just in our TTS systems, but across. So in sales and in marketing and operations. And actually you do get a few different opportunities to present your work, to make a mark with the leadership at 3M. So you'll get opportunities to show off your work, a lot of networking. You'll get to meet all of the TTS interns. We actually do 2 different types of mentoring. So you'll have a peer mentor. They assign, this is also a recent intern that converted to a 3M, kind of help you to like, what does it mean to be a 3M'er? How do we do this? What's the correct protocol? Kind of the questions you might feel uncomfortable asking your manager or even a teammate. And we also assign our internships senior mentor. This is somebody in a management position that has a lot of experience at 3M that can help open doors for you and help you get to know other people. There's a lot of community building, even inside and outside of 3M, where some of the events they actually do with 3M. I don't know what they did last year because of COVID, but sometimes they do events that feed my starving children, or they get involved with some community activity. And then obviously you get to learn about TTS, where there's meet the TTS leader sessions. There's our diversity and inclusion sessions. You'll be part of what we call NERD, or our new employee resource and development sessions. Any questions here? No hands?
Do you have any examples for the hackathon projects?
Yes, I do. 2 years ago, the hackathon was around 3M makes the filters that you would put in your home furnace or in your air conditioner. And one of the things is replacing them regularly not only cleans your air, but it actually also saves energy in the environment. The dirty or the filter is, the harder your air conditioning or your heating system has to work to pull air through the system. And honestly, it's true, the more filters we sell, the more profitable we are. They were given a challenge of, could we find a way to detect if the air filters were dirty and needed to be replaced? And could we alert customers? So it became an IoT project. There was a lot of different solutions. Like this wasn't, that was given to all of the interns to work on. And a lot of different solutions came together. Really cool solution was actually brought forward where somebody put together a wire that was under pressure. And they recognized that as the filter got dirty, as the air flew it, the filter deformed more, and then that would pull a little bit harder on this wire, which could be set to a sensor. And then once the sensor was pulled high enough, it could then connect to an app on your phone and actually say, it's time to replace your filter. So that was one example. It was a pretty awesome one. Great question, Shuja. Did I say that right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Question here.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you guys. So basically, I just learned that I think that you guys have like different levels for internship. So since I'm senior, maybe I'm not going to be qualified. But what would like to ask is, I mean, I would expect that 3M will be like, will have a lot of applicants, you know, maybe in thousands, and it's really difficult. I mean, it's very easy to get, you know, to have your resume just thrown out away by a computer, you know. But you know, what I was, my question is, you know, I will be graduating in May now, just this May. You know, I don't have any experience, but I develop by my own in my home, you know, just to few different web applications and mobile applications just by myself. And, you know, do you have any tips, you know, on how I can, I mean, I don't have work experience in real life with programming, but I would like to, you know, join us, you know, as soon as possible so that I don't lose my motivation. Do you have any, you know, suggestions or tips on how I can maybe, you know, stand out or be, I mean, to win the interview process and things like that as a senior, you know, because I'm not going to be intern.
Yeah. Well, I will. I'm not going to talk about, because I got a slide on them on the interview process and the resume.
Oh, okay.
But I think, and this segues great into my next slide. But one of the things is you've got to find ways now that you didn't have an internship on how you could get that experience. I tell you what, when I was a student, I actually had a lot of experience. I worked at Metro State in the IT service center. I was a IT support analyst, and actually part of that is I built a IT FAQ website. I actually used Wiki software and put together FAQ on how to solve a lot of problems, and I put together a lot of phone scripts. So I found a creative way to develop and to actually have on my resume the skills that I needed. And I think, Burkett, that's something you could work on is where do you have an opportunity? You know, that might be volunteer too. Maybe there's some community organization or something you're involved with, and they need some IT help. That looks great on the resume. I can't actually tell you how awesome that looks, but that would be something I would consider.
I mean, I am already in the IT department, just data support, and I try to do some scripts, you know, like partial scripts, but my career is programming, you know, so.
Yeah. Hey, that's great. If you're in there, you know, maybe ask your current supervisor and say, hey, I'm looking for a little bit more. I'm looking to grow. Are there opportunities for me to do? And then you would describe the things you're looking to do. And many managers love that. I'm certain your manager like, here's a great thing you could do. So
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I tell you what, and this is, I'm showing a timeline slide here. And one of the things I want to tell you my thing that I did, and this is why we're here this April, because we're trying to set you up for success while you're a sophomore or a junior. Eric, kind of similar to you, I didn't know how college worked. My parents didn't go to college. I kind of just thought it was like you graduate and then somebody shows up and says, here's a job. like literally. Similar to you, I was graduating in May of 2006, and sometime in April of 2006, I was like, well, how do I get a job now? How do I do this? And I kind of like all of you, I actually started filling out my resume and I started applying everywhere, and my resume was sitting in limbo. I think we had that question, how many different places? Monster, there was a big thing, monster.com, and it was ladders. I was applying everywhere. And you know what? I didn't get a job for about 4 months after I graduated. I did, but I waited too late. Like that's a thing. So please don't, you know, think of who we're looking for. Right now, we're here. We're at that red dot, right? We're raising awareness. We're presenting high-level internship information, okay? This is where we're at right now. You know what? This is actually even the time to start refining your resume. So like resumes don't write in a day. So What's next is we're going to do a 3M sponsored info session in the fall. So literally right when you are coming back to school next August, September, we'll have an info session. It's going to be scheduled. It'll be tied to the Metro State Career and Diversity Fair. At that point, we'll have more specific details. So we should know how many internships we're recruiting for, how many interviews we're going to do. But be ready for that. Like, look for that right when you get back to school. Pay attention to the diversity and career fair that Metro State stands up, and look for our info session, because that's what happens next. And this is why I love you guys asking me questions. Come meet us, talk with us, right? Help 3M get to know you. Help me and Kat get to know you. Let's take off that relationship of you just threw a resume at the wall, because we do get 100 of them. Let's get to know each other. Come say hi, right? So one of the things to think about is the more we get to know you, that's who I want to work with. People that want to work with me. When we're looking at 2 or 3 different students, and maybe you've got similar GPAs and you're all taking similar classes, what helped you stand out? And one of that is asking us the questions and getting to know each other.
So are you implying that we maybe join the meetings even if we are not qualified for internships?
You can come, but I can't. We don't really recruit for the non-internships, but we will. So next fall, I'll have some more specific info. So you could join, and we could talk about any of the full-time positions we have. I can give you all the info. It's just definitely more competitive. But yeah. Join. Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah. Step number 4, that's the time. So right after the career fair, we're going to give you the info at the info session, the career fair, on how to apply for 3M internships. This is a thing right here, is your resume should be in a great shape by this spot. You've got 6 months to work on it now. If we're going to be in September, that's the 9th. Polish it up. Don't wait till the night before to write it. I've got a slide here where I'm going to show an example of a resume and what's needed, what will help you stand out. And then basically me and Kat will choose who we're going to interview. And it's based upon your resume, what's in there, your classes, our previous interactions with you, and we choose the leading candidates for interviews. Do we have a question there? Something popped up on my screen. Okay.
No.
And then the final process is an internal process at 3M. So after we interview our leading candidates, me and Kat, we will actually begin to present you. So we'll take your resumes, we'll make certain that they're available to all the hiring managers, but we'll be able to put a face to it in a conversation. I'll be able to sit down, and me and Kat can talk with them and say, we think you should hire this person. This is what they brought to the table. This is what they said. This is how the interview went. We think they'd be a great fit. So that's what we're here to do. And that internal process, though, and we had that question about, hey, I applied and it's been sitting in this process. Hiring somebody, we don't want to just hire anybody. So it's not a fast process. It can take 3 to 4 months before all of our internship positions are filled. Any questions on this slide? Did I miss anything, Kat?
I have a question.
Okay, yeah, Emmett?
So yes. So what is like the best way to prepare for the interview?
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah. I've got a slide coming up for that. Definitely have a slide for you. Great question though. That's critical, because if you haven't prepared, and I'm going to give away our secrets. So, and one of the things is, though, we do this at all the other colleges, but you're here learning it, and you're going to take the time to do some research and come prepped. So the secret is there will be no secret, because I'm going to tell it to you. And it's, did you take the time to prepare yourself for it?
I'm also eager to see the resume, the example resume you have. So.
Well, here we go. It's my resume. So your resume is critical. Like this is super important when you're applying at a very competitive company like 3M. It's the critical first impression you have with our hiring managers, okay? You're still competing against students from 27 other universities and recruiting events. So start working on your resume now, okay? Don't wait till this fall, start it now. Keep your resume to one page, okay? This isn't a CV, right? This isn't your life history. This is a resume. Keep it one page. Make it easy for the hiring manager to identify you as the leading candidate, including everything and putting it on 8 sheets of paper. We've got, there's going to be 100 resumes to read. Do they really need to dig in there? It's on you, the applicant. Make it easy, right? Focus your resume when you're writing it out, when you're filling it in. Focus your resume on the job you are applying for, okay? Read the job description and make certain you align your resume to that job description. So I'm not suggesting you make things up at all, but make certain that you're covering how you meet the requirements, how you have the background. And I'll tell you one thing too here is what are your skills in the background? Well, an interesting thing is we're looking for college students. So a lot of the skills and background we're looking for are the classes that you've taken. So it's totally appropriate on your resume to include, I was in Management Information System 5021 ERP systems. I'm making up numbers, don't quote me on that one, but that would be an important piece in there. Make certain you're laying out how you uniquely qualify for the position. Make certain you're using your university's resources to polish your resume. Like this is so important. Take advantage of any resume review sessions you can be a part of. Definitely don't wait until the fall. A great resume may take you 2 or 3 months to complete. On the right-hand side, this is my resume. You may have it a little bit different, but this is a one-pager. You can see I can put on a ton of information in there. On mine, I have a vision statement. Maybe you have a vision or you've got an objective that you're looking for. You'd put in your resume. On mine, I'm not including my GPA at this point, but interestingly enough, it was 3.9 for my MBA and it was 3.8 at Metro State. Maybe it was 3.7. I don't know. Your grades get better the longer.
It's a good point though, that we do need to know your GPA. So definitely put that on there because there is a minimum GPA requirement.
Yeah.
And just make sure that that's on there along with your major and your anticipated graduation date. If you forget everything else, we'll have some great candidates, but if they don't have a GPA on there, we can't go any farther.
Or that graduation date, right? Yes. Too, that's critical. Great point. Yeah. If you don't have that on there, then they might assume, wait, they're graduating too soon. And we've got a lot of candidates. Like get the info there, make it easy. You put in your skills and abilities. For me, I wasn't looking for a very technical role. So, but you can imagine maybe if somebody's a computer science grad and they're thinking, okay, I've got this experience with Java, I've done this with AWS or Azure, you'd put in your specific skills there and then put in your work history. And you know, one of the interesting things you might see, like, you know, my work history, I worked at Target, I did this, right? You know what, there's a lot of things you might have done. Maybe you were actually working at a restaurant. That's customer service. You can put it in there, that make it clear. Hey, when you worked at Target, I worked with a diverse clientele. I handled X many transactions per day. I tamped down customer complaints. So start working on it now. This I can't reinforce. And you know, we go to 27 other universities, and some of the universities really focus on this. Sometimes they even do it in a class. I'm telling you right now, this is a secret. It's not a secret though. You must have an open resume. Go to your career center, look for resume review sessions, ask people you work with to review your resume.
Peter and Kat, I just put in the chat a little blurb about our resume drop-in session every Wednesday.
Awesome.
11:30 to 1. Tracy and Emily are fantastic, and you'll get some good time with them now. The closer it gets to September, the more stressed you'll feel, and the more difficult it's going to be to produce a good quality resume. So I agree with Peter. Get started on it right now if you can.
Yeah, thanks. And that this, I mean, I'm really stressing this right here. It's not a secret. I'm telling you, this is critical, and not just for our internships, and not just for 3M and any job you're applying for. This is important. And my last slide here, I'm going to give you STAR. This is how you interview, and I need you to Google STAR. Go to Wikipedia and look at STAR. This is super important. This is how we bring you in. So when we ask you a question, I'm going to ask you a very general question, okay? And some people that don't understand the STAR process get lost, okay? I might say, can you tell me about a time you overcame adversity? Or how have you succeeded even though you ran into problems, okay? Very general. I'm not going to ask you a specific thing like, hey, how would you compile a C# project if you didn't have access to Maven? Like that's not what we ask. We're going to ask you STAR-based questions. STAR is situation, task, action, and results. And practice this. I don't know if the school has any interview practicing, but Google it, try this. So when we ask you this general question, it needs you to come back to me and tell me about a specific situation, not a generality. Don't tell me, well, most times this, be very specific. Paint out that's a specific picture, right? You might say, one time at my job, I was faced with X. My manager asked me to improve X because it was affecting our customers, okay? And you might lay out that exact situation. So obviously you're not gonna say with X, give me the details, get it specific. And once you get this very specific, it'll become easier to work with, right? Who was involved? Who were the people? Even give their names, okay? Why did the situation arise? Okay, we don't want to talk in generalities. I want to know a specific thing you've encountered. And then talk about the task, right? Give me the opportunity to explain your specific role in the task. Why were you involved? What is the background story? Why were you brought in? Okay, what was your skills? Why were you chosen? Then talk through the actions very specifically. What actions did you take to resolve the situations? What steps did you take? Why did you choose those steps? Tell me why you did that. And then end it with the results. Clearly detail the results of your actions. Highlight your strength. Tell me what was the outcome. How do you feel about the results? Could they have been better? Were they awesome, right? What did you learn in this situation? And how does this situation influence who you are today? STAR-based interviews. Be prepared. Lots of information on the internet. There's no trick questions here. I'm not going to ask you multiple choice. We're not going to ask you a technical thing like how do you do double book accounting and how do you follow IFRS and GAAP? Like that's not how the interview will go. We're going to ask you STAR-based questions, very general, and then you make it specific. You'll choose your situation. You'll give us the details. You'll talk us through the task. You'll tell us about the actions you took and the results you achieved. No secret here. But if you don't come prepared, the interviews can get very hard if you don't understand the STAR-based process.
Yeah, and the interview itself will last only about a half an hour, maybe a little longer. And we'll ask you probably about what, 5, 6 questions, something like that. I can't remember how many. And we'll ask everybody the same question. So it's not like we're going to tailor it for you. Everybody gets the same question. And what we're looking for is how well you think through a problem, how well you handled adversity, how well you, we're looking for innovation. We're looking for, and it doesn't have to be, this situation can come from your job that you're doing now. It can come from a classroom assignment. But be thinking about these different situations where, you got faced with something and you were able to get through it. Because that's really what we want to see. It might be, teamwork questions. How do you handle teamwork? Everybody's had good and bad experience working as teams. But you think about it, everything that we do, if you think about what we said when we showed our 3M slide, we're about collaboration, we're about innovation, and we're about diversity, not only in people, but in thought. So think about where you fit into that type of a culture and what sort of instances in your lives and in your experience that you can show us, because this is the type of thing, not only at 3M, but any company that you go to or any interview you go through, if you master these techniques, you will be the interview that they remember because you were prepared, you had good, concise answers. So each one of these, you'll ask like 5 questions you want about a 2 to 5 minute answer, something along that, little bitty speeches that you would like to explain these. So be thinking about those situations now and kind of start running through your head. You can even practice yourself, but you'll understand that these are common not only through 3M but other places where you interview, and these will be a very good way for you to be prepared for any interview, actually.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you all. Thanks for coming.
And we really look forward to meeting some of you this fall. You guys, like I said, we were so happy to get 2 interns placed. We always have goals. We're very proud of being 3 Metro State alumni. And we want to see more of you in the hallways, whenever we get back into the hallways, because I think Metro State just brings exactly what 3M's looking for as far as the type of people we want to hire.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And my email's in the chat. Reach out to me if you need to talk, but I do have to wrap.
Peter and Kat, thank you so much.
Sam. And Mike, Billy, you can sure send my email to everybody. I don't have it in the chat right now, but mine's really easy. I'm keggers@mmm.com. So
I'll paste it in there, Kat.
that'd be great. Anyway, nice to see you all. Nice to talk to you again. And I hope to see you in the fall.
Thanks so
Thank you.
much, Kat.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, geez. Finally done. Finally done.
Hey, Bill, are you sending us the email or?
Yeah, right now.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming, everybody.
All right.